Prominent evangelical leaders, including Pastor David Jeremiah, Reverend Johnny Moore, Albert Mohler, and the Southern Baptist Convention leadership as a whole, have issued statements in strong support of Israel in the wake of recent attacks by Hamas. David Jeremiah, a prominent pastor and author, called upon Christians to pray for Israel's spiritual protection and salvation, referencing biblical promises related to Israel and stressing its importance in God's plan. He expressed his grief over the attacks and the loss of life in Israel. Reverend Johnny Moore also, in a speech at the European Parliament in Brussels, added his voice to the call for support for Israel. Moore emphasized the severe scale and brutality of the attacks, comparing them to the Holocaust of World War II and condemning the cowardice behind the violence. He pointed to reports of Iranian involvement in planning the attacks, indicating that Hamas received support from the Islamic Republic of Iran. Moore also highlighted the non-religious nature of the conflict and the need for a collective international response to the situation. Theologian, author, and president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, Albert Mohler, acknowledges that Israel has both the right and responsibility to combat Hamas, but faces moral complexities in its efforts to limit civilian casualties in Gaza. He emphasizes that the objective of destroying Hamas is clear, but challenging due to the use of human shields by the organization. Hamas and Hezbollah have expressed their intention to destroy Israel, making the situation complex. Mohler highlights the ethical dilemma and the unique predicament Israel faces, trying to balance its need for self-defense with preventing civilian casualties. He also mentions the principles of the Christian just war theory, which requires a just cause and efforts to prevent civilian harm in warfare. In this context, Hamas is accused of intentionally using civilians as shields, putting Israel in a difficult moral position. Mohler asserts that Hamas bears ultimate responsibility for the deaths that occur during this entire conflict. The Southern Baptist Convention's Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission released a comprehensive statement that unequivocally condemned the attacks by Hamas. The statement expressed unwavering support for Israel's right to defend itself against further attacks and called for Christians to pray for the salvation and peace of both Israeli and Palestinian people. The Commission highlighted the historical challenges faced by Israel since its establishment in 1948, the enduring threat of genocidal attempts against the Jewish people, and the need to oppose anti-Semitic ideologies. In general, evangelical Christians have consistently supported Israel, especially during recent events involving Hamas attacks and Israel's response. They reject the notion of false equivalence between the actions of Hamas and the Israeli military. However, there is an overarching push that supporting states is less critical than standing with people, including both Israelis and Palestinians who have suffered in the ongoing conflict. The concept of both-sidism oversimplifies the situation, and that both Hamas and Israeli actions should be condemned when they harm innocent civilians. These statements all, with others made by Christian leaders around the world, collectively underscore the significant solidarity Christians the world over have with Jewish people in general and with Israeli and Palestinian believers caught in the crossfire. These statements emphasize the dignity and personhood of all individuals in the Middle East and the offer of salvation through Jesus Christ to all people. The statements further call for a clear distinction between Israel and Hamas and a strong commitment to supporting Israel while condemning the attacks by the Iranian-backed terror group, Hamas.